Welcome back, everyone, to FLUTI after our amazing match between Assault and Pepper against Bat. We have arrived at the semi-finals. It will be Shadowbolt against Nawal. Shadowbolt beat Zenith, the top seed. Nawal beat New Generation, who we've seen against Frostburn, so it's looking absolutely stacked. Hackback also lost against Nightmare, which is a little bit of a surprise to me. But Bio wanted that, so good for him. And they're fighting against Assault and Pepper. We've seen it here just now on stream. But let's go back onto our set, onto our maps, onto our map modes combinations, because they are about to be some very interesting maps. Starting it off on Manta, Maria, Rainmaker, and then after that we will be splat zones on Hagglefish Market, Tower Control on the new skyscraper map. I actually forgot the name of it. It's
Crableg.
very bad. Crableg.
Wait, no. Wait,
And actually no. Anyway, we'll discuss those other maps later. Someone in chat can tell me the real name. Let's start it off right here on Rainmaker, Manta, Maria, another Splatoon 2 map. It took a little for that to come back, but it's finally here, and I already see something that interests my eye. I see a 96 Deco against a regular 96 Gal. Two weapons you don't see all too often anymore, especially on normal 96, and now they're facing it off against each other. Also, Shadowbolt is running a ballpoint battling instead of tri-switches, weapons which I like to see as well. The first pop, I believe, went to Nawal, but Shadowbolt quickly went on and got back at that turf, but it looks like Nawal was able to pick up the Rainmaker and already secured the first checkpoint.
yeah, but Shadowbolt is looking to use their 3 specials to make it happen. A vacuum, the Trizuka, and that Ancient are gonna do everything they can, but surprisingly, the Rainmaker manages to slip past and get all the way to 13, and Nawal is not showing any sign of giving up as they are holding strong in this mid. They did not get wiped out, and just a minute into the game, they're already remarkably close to that knockout goal. Nawal was really showing off what they can do at the beginning of the game, and they are not letting up with that crack, installing a lot of time off of the clock and threatening a ton of picks onto the members of Shadowbolt, which, by the way, have not been able to get the Rainmaker out of mid. Amit Kiwi is just trying to live these Trizuka shots. It's not quite going to happen. And Nawal they have no issue staying alive and getting picks onto Shadowbolt. They seem to be controlling the pace of the game really, really well, as Shadowbolt just tried to find any way to get into mid with that vacuum and find any way to start pressuring that Rainmaker and get an advantage.
Yes, and that is something Shadowbolt really wants to have, because Nawal is not done fighting over that middle point just yet. They have some turf control, and the Cracker just ran out. Shadowbolt's finally looking to get back as they got rid of the 96 Deco, and they're pushing it on a little bit further with that Tacticooler at the ready. 2 players down on the side of Nawal. This is their opportunity to pick it up. They're opting to go to the right side, but someone was at the top, and it was the NZAP from Chompoa, not waiting around, quickly getting those splats, quickly getting the Rainmaker out of contention for that checkpoint. Very good play here by Nawal in order to defend the checkpoint and take more time off Shadowbolt, something I don't really have. Half the game has already progressed. It's only 80 points pushed, or 20 points pushed for Shadowbolt, and a staggering 87 points for Nawal, 80-13. Shadowbolts have to go in a little bit harder, and it's not gonna happen if they're getting split left and right. They pop the Rainmaker. Nick is using their own Zuka to get some revenge onto the Zuka of Nawal, but will it be enough? It's a 3v3 scenario, as someone from Shadowbolt has to respawn and go back into the middle, as someone from Nawal has just been splatted and is going a little bit back and forth into the middle, but there's no real progress is made, and that's very good for Nawal and not so good for Shadowbolt. It's to pick up the Rainmaker and looking to opt to go to the right again. Inkfact coming out to protect the Rainmaker. Can it get on the checkpoint? No, it cannot. It's taking so much time. It finally can. It gets the checkpoint as well, but it gets followed by the buoy bomb as 3 players fall from Shadowbolt, ending their push. It took a long time, but they finally got the checkpoint, but still have to push all the way here to 13 Bio.
I mean, the funny thing is, Nawal just keeps sneaking behind Shadowbolt every single time they want to try and push. it's just they can never quite be safe. They can never have the entirety of Nawal in front of them, and that is turning out to be their downfall. Shadowbolt trying to deal with this Kraken from Nero. Not going to get a lot of picks, but going to force them off of the strategic locations, which is a fantastic value. And actually, never mind, Nero just proved me wrong with that no pick statement as they get one. Threaten Nick and Jaime Kiwi. They just cannot stop threatening these picks. But to go down to the side of Nawal, Shadowbolt with that ink back is going to get a lot of value. The Rainmaker is run all the way to almost 13 again. And with just 40 seconds remaining, Shadowbolt haven't even been able to break it past the... Well, I mean, they got the first checkpoint, but not much more than that. Nawal have been holding on so well for the entirety of the match after that monstrous push at the beginning. But just as I say that, 3 go down to the side of Nawal. Nawal have some cracks in their defense. They're starting to show their age. But Nilla, this is what I'm talking about. Nawal always have someone behind Shadowbolt, and here was Nilla getting a clean 2-pick streak. 10 seconds remaining, less now. They need to get, they need to secure it, they need to keep it alive, they need to treat it like it is their own baby if they want to get this, if they want to get any mileage out of this overtime push. They start pushing in here, but Shadowbolt with that ink fact are going to clear up a lot of space. Nawal need to find some way to counteract this, but also Shadowbolt need to move forward right now. They're taking way too much time. They just ran out of the ink fact. They just lost their wild card, and the Kraken moves in. There's nothing Shadowbolt can do. Nawal are going to be pushing off with this Kraken, with this Trizuka. Less than half of overtime is remaining. Shadowbolt are trying to get their Rainmaker to do something, but Sangura is playing it really safe. They finally crossed the gap, but Nawal still holding on really well. Look at all this yellow paint. Shadowbolt trying to make something happen, but they lose their 96 gal. They lose a lot of their space. Sangura trying to go, moves in, but just a few points shy of that lead. Sangura is going to get taken out, and oof, that was an extremely close game, but Nawal is going to end up on top with that fantastic defense at the very end to hold on to their lead of 13.
Yeah, it took a bit for Shadowbolt to finally move. Technically, it was just a straight line to the finish, but unfortunately Nawal just had too much of a defense against Shadowbolt. And I think in a map like Manta and Maria as well, you have so much airtime as the Rainmaker when you have to drop down. That is such a time waster, and all you can do there is just charge the shot and hope for the best. So that's unfortunate for Shadowbolt. Nawal though, definitely a stronger team here. It was only 6 points away from lead actually. The Rainmaker, so it wasn't even that far off by Shadowbolts, but well, just showing to be the superior team here on Rainmaker. But of course, that might.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for waiting after. We are still streaming this same match, so that'll be their through their Hagglefish Market Zones game. But yeah, our streamer PC crashed, but hey, yeah, correct, not womp. We are back. So we didn't get to talk a little bit about the map, so tell me what they are playing it at the moment. So let's talk about the next one, Tower Control on Crableg Capital. You don't even remember the name, but what do you think we might be seeing here on this pretty novel map?
It's I haven't actually played Tower Control on it, I will be honest. I played primarily Turf War on it with friends. So I'm not gonna make the biggest guesses, the biggest predictions. I'm just more interested on how those upper grades will be used on Tower Control, and especially how the few players are gonna take the best advantage of those graded areas. Because that's where this map really reminds me of the original and the good Hammerhead Bridge, where you had those grades spanning across the whole map, and you could just walk on top of it and shoot down on your opponent. So that's something I'm really looking forward to how these teams are going to abuse that. I think that's really the more interesting part for me.
No, yeah, for sure. It's a really great heavy map comparable to something like Mincemeat Metalworks. So, you know, myself as an aggressive frontline player, I'm not the biggest fan, but I know that if that these teams whip out something like a Splatling or something with a lot of run speed, it can definitely be really beneficial for them. But what's really curious is actually let's talk a little bit about the tower's pathway. You know, where the tower goes throughout the map. And the biggest thing is that the fact that it jumps up to the top right section of the map really suddenly after one of the checkpoints. So that's a huge change of pace for the team, since that's now a really thin stretch of map that they have to play around if they want to stop the tower. So it really shifts the way that the two teams play, and if they're not prepared for it, it can really catch them off guard.
Yeah, we just got the confirmation. It's Shadowbolt who won the Splatzone's game, unfortunately, because the Crash didn't actually get to see that. But it will be interesting how it's gonna be going down now to tower control here. Like you said, it will be interesting. It will be fun as well. It's 1-1, it's best of 5, so this game will take a little bit longer. So the decider will now be at least Humpback Bomb Track, which also is Splatoon 2 returning. A lot of Splatoon 2 maps in today's map pool. I really like it. It really gives me the nostalgia from Splatoon 2 before Mists became the meta and I stopped playing competitive because it was just really boring. We don't talk about that era of Splatoon. We don't do that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of people can sympathize with your cause. But anyway, yeah, let's move in here. Game 3 now. We're actually going to see Nawal come out with a 50 gal. Unfortunate to see, but Shadowbolt Sangura with the brand new up-and-coming Snipe Rider 5H for that tactical, which, by the way, they already popped out. That output is kind of crazy, but Shadowbolt really moving in with that tactical are going to get two picks on the side of Nawal. Shadowbolt still going here, and now 3 down. It's only the Zap player left alive, and that's going to give them a nice chance to move.
Yeah, they need a chance to move in and need to get some points here on the board. It's only an early game, but the big lead you get early in the game, the better. Shadowbolt is looking to get that lead in as they are fighting over the checkpoint on the side of Nawal. Can they get a checkpoint with 2 players down? It's going to be difficult. The Snipe Rider losing them early in that fight was not ideal. They only got a quarter of the checkpoint, which they now have to redo again. Of course, Splatoon 3, if you don't know, if you only do half a tower checkpoint and the tower goes back, you have to do the whole checkpoint again. And it looks like Nawal is doing a checkpoint a little bit better, because they secured it and are looking to go even further onto the map. The map goes all the way down to the bottom and then up top towards the enemy base. So it's a long tower right here for Nawal, but they're still on top of it and they're still pushing, they're still getting points, and they're approaching that checkpoint, and there's nothing Shadowbolt can do. They have a player advantage. This is hopefully where they stop pushing the tower. It's a 2v2 scenario, but no one is near the tower. It's a 1v1 on the tower, and Nero does get that splat on Nick as well as it'll get on Velis, and this is a huge opportunity for Nero to get that tower across the checkpoint here. Bio as Nawal secures the checkpoint here and is moving up to checkpoint number 3.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about. You see how rapidly that tower moves to that top left side and really changes the gameplay. Nawal didn't quite manage to move up there fast enough and got wiped out by Shadow. But hey, a lead. Difficult it is. That ending, 1v1 with the but wow, Nawal already securing a really nice lead. It's gonna make it difficult for Shadowbolt to move forward, but doesn't say that too. Nawal, Shadowbolt with some renewed life here, trying to get some picks onto the side, onto Nawal, is going to start clearing the way for them to get checkpoint 1, pop out another cooler, and Nawal are going to start fishing for ways to stop this crab tongue on the right side, get a pick on the Aime Kiwi, have the Trizuka to move in quickly to that bottom right pit. This could be what they were looking for if they want to stop this push, but this is looking dire for Shadowbolt because they are having a really scrappy fight on that bottom left side.
Yeah, the bottom left side is a hot territory right now for both teams because Nawal doesn't want the tower there and Shadowbolt wants to move the tower across the little area. They're only a couple points away from the lead, but a couple points is separated by full checkpoint. But a bullet bomb and a triple spell will wipe out Nawal and give Shadowbolt the perfect opportunity to get that checkpoint with the tower back a little bit, giving Nawal time to respawn. This will be an absolute banger of a fight coming on your screens right now. The checkpoint is being attacked by Nawal. They're trying to get rid of the checkpoint, trying to get past it. It looks like they will. It looks like they can as they get past the checkpoint. But everyone is gone from that tower, and a wipeout on the side of Shadowbolt prevents them from gaining the lead. But that was oh so close by these teams. It was unfortunate for Nawal. The tower was about, it was unfortunate for Shadowbolt that the tower was a little bit back. It was about 10-12 points back, because if it was not, then they would have gotten the lead here. But now it's back to Nawal. They're on the tower. They're pushing a very, very good tactical being thrown out by the NZAP to support their team. That little buff is going to help them a lot, especially the movement speed buff on those graves, because you can only walk there. There's only one tiny bit of inkable space, and it looks like Nawal with 2 players down, so Shadowbolt is going to extend their lead. NZAP on the tower has the tactical buff, which will also give you faster respawn, and it looks like Nawal's doing everything they can to get the tower going. The third chapter has been passed. 3 players are down on the side of Shadowbolt as Nawal gets the checkpoint and gets game number... Was it game number 3? Yeah, it was 3. Game number 3 secured. And they are now at match point status. But Bio, what a game. What a fight on the side of Nawal on the second checkpoint. Shadowbolt almost had it. A wipeout made it super, super scary there for Nawal.
Yeah, no, Nawal definitely... really dangerous when they were when Shadowbolt was threatening that lead. They got that's their point marker, but Nawal just barely managing to hold on there at the end is going to end up giving them that game 3. So definitely congratulations to them, and we're getting, like you said, way closer to figuring out one of our grand finals participants, since Nawal is now on match point, and it's all going to boil down to see if Shadowbolt can clutch up in this game for map mode combo to in the flat zones on Humpback Pump Track. Like you said, definitely a Splatoon 2 throwback, but I'm not sure if it's a good one. I'm not sure if it's necessarily a fan favorite, so to speak.
I don't think it was a fan favorite, but it was a very interesting map. It definitely produced a lot of interesting results, and also helped with a decent amount of upset, because it's just a weird map. Like, the entry points are weird. The zone is in a little... It's a circle. You don't see a circle. At least it feels like a circle. I don't know if it's actually a circle. It feels like a circle. You don't see that all too often. I think the only other map that shares the circle zone is WoW World. So it's an interesting map, to say the least, but it's also quite a bit, at least it feels quite a bit bigger than most of these Splatoon 2 and 3 maps. I personally like it. It's a good pleasure map. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's something. It can definitely produce an interesting result there. But what it is a map where Nawal is really looking forward to win, because they need that win to advance to the finals, and I know they really want to get to those finals.
But what I really know is that I know neither of wait, sorry, am I gonna that's my bad. But yeah, what I can tell you is that neither of these teams want to play this map. This is an atrocity, but hey, you know, we'll see here. We'll see here to see what these teams want to bring out.
Yeah, I'm interested in a weapon choices. I mean, these teams are already bringing a little bit of off-pick weapons, starting off with like the vanilla 96 against the 96 Deco. That's something you don't see every single day. Sniper out of the tower control is not unusual anymore, but it's not the most common thing in the world. So we're going to see what they will bring here. Snipe Rider on Splat Zones is definitely a lot more common. And Shadowbolt is bringing the team with a double Splash-O-Matic, giving a little bit of a nostalgia to the first Splatoon 3 meta, which was a lot of Splash-O-Matics. And even though it was the normal Splash-O-Matic against the new because it was an audio, it was still a Splash-O-Matic nonetheless. It looks like both teams are early to get a Splat in, but no team is early to get a good paint on that zone, but Shadowbolt takes that away and starting off to score points, but they have to keep it. 2 players are down instead of Nawal though, and that's a very good opening for Shadowbolt as they can now progress into the zone or to the spawn of Nawal and spread some chaos there. Buivon comes out to fight off the Splash-O-Matic, I believe, who was flanking. I don't think that was the best use of Buivon. The Inksuka as well trying to hit that Snipe Rider, but this could make it happen, and Shadowbolt already pushed past the 60 mark and they're still scoring very good points.
Yeah, no, with a pretty aggressive push. They are stalled down a little bit. They do get this cap, but it's still not quite enough. They're not getting the picks that they need onto Shadowbolt, and in fact are going to be going 2 down themselves. Shadowbolt with their really aggressive tactical pick is going to allow them to make some very nice plays here. And especially with some of the weapons that they're showing off, that Tri-Slosher, that Splash-O-Matic are going to be able to combo off each other really well. And we're seeing Shadowbolt take advantage of that fact really nicely as Nawal go 2 down, Shadowbolt 2 down as well, but they come back quickly and Segura has that backup tactical. Are going to keep painting the zone, stalling out Nilla. Nilla is going to be forced to jump back, and Nawal really struggling to break through Shadowbolt's really nice defensive wall.
Yes, that defensive wall was strong, but it wasn't strong enough. Nawal is just not having the best time of their life right here. 2 specials will come out onto the zone and neutralize it, but can they hold on to it? No, they cannot. Shadowbolt just quickly goes in and scores a lot of turf for it to capture. So once again, it's Nawal. They're not having their game at all. As Shadowbolt is looking to get a KO, or can Nawal stop it? No, they cannot. It will be 2-2, a game 5 semi-final. It's the only one we will have because the other team had a 3-0. But it is a very hyped and close match between these 2 teams to fight it out for that spot on the finals and a potential win at FLUTI here. Nawal won the first game and the third game. Shadowbolt won the second and the fourth. So by pattern, it will be Nawal who wins the next with Clamblitz. It's the one mode these 2 teams haven't played each other against in just yet. It will be on MakoMart as well, which is a map mode combination which is absolutely stuck in everyone's mind. We grinded it out for a couple years and we're still grinding it out today. I think it's just that good. But what do you think, Bio? Clamblitz, Nawal against Shadowbolt. Who do you think will be the better team at that very unique game mode?
You know, I have to say, since it's Clamblitz, we will definitely be seeing the return of the 2. Oh, okay, I'm not going to call them cheese specials because that's a little bit rude, but of the 2 volatile specials, so to speak, that Kraken and that Vacuum. That they're definitely going to be showing their rebirth here on Clamblitz MakoMart, and because they're just really strong specials in this mode, and they have some very funny interactions with the way the objective works. But aside from that, it is going to just have to boil down to which team can show off their playstyle as more dynamic and more adaptable, as that's really what Clamblitz is all about. How quickly you can transition from one playstyle to the next. How quickly you can go from aggression to defense and back again. Because Clamblitz is such a volatile and fast-paced game mode that you can't afford to get caught lacking.
Yeah, that's exactly how it works indeed, and exactly what these teams are up against now with each other. But like you said, the return of the Kraken and the Vacuum, I think is interesting because it was Shadowbolt had the Vacuum, right, and Nawal had the Kraken, and both really share strengths, but that Vacuum isn't really gonna stop a push from happening, because you can still sort of move around while there's a Vacuum there. Painting is a little bit more difficult, but that's about it, and they don't have to watch out for that final shot, whilst the Kraken can absolutely smash through a whole lot of people. So it'd be interesting to see. Unfortunately, Neither of these specials will make a return as the team stuck to comms that we've played at the last game. Very similar weapon comms, at least, to make sure they're playing at their absolute best. I think these are the weapon comps that these teams are the most comfortable with as well. Went from a little bit more experimental to absolute meta craziness, and that's what you like to see in these tournaments like this, where people will absolutely throw out every single stop to win. It looks like a very equally paced opening fight. More turf for Shadowbolt, but less players alive. More splats on the side of Nawal. People are going a little bit back and forth here to secure some points, secure some clams. 6 clams by Nawal, 2 clams by Shadowbolt. But a lot of people are being splattered here, and that's not looking good. It's 3v3 alive on the field. Not a single move has been made of yet. It's the first minute. They're still building up tension, still building. Good flank by Nero onto Nilla. Getting rid of that crab tank is very, very nice. And getting rid of the special medic is even better because there's a lot of turf away from the map. And it looks like Nawal is preparing for a push with 8 clams on the field. But Nero, in a bit of a predicament, gets himself caught by 3 players of Shadowbolts and gets splattered here. And it looks like 3 players are going to be down on the side of Nawal, meaning Shadowbolt has a free clam basket to start pushing in. Unfortunately, they don't have enough clams as of yet. They finally do, but it was way too late. And I think they're not going to score a whole here, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, Shadowbolt really fumbled that push, in my opinion, by just not watching their clam counter. And that gives Nawal a lot of opportunities to really find ways to get this back. That crab tank, that tactical are going to give them a lot of space and a lot of resources to move forward. But, you know, Nawal still also had that same privilege. They got the time to get some of their specials online, and Kiwi going ham with 2 picks, and this crab tank to boot is going to put a lot of pressure onto Nawal and open up the basket once again for Shadowbolt. Kiwi goes just overextending a little bit, but they're going to come back quickly with a tactical, so not much harm done, while the Tri-Slosher is going to do the complete opposite, gets quite a bit of value, and Shadowbolt keeping the basket open with just a couple of clams to push it all the way to 56. Not too much more is gonna happen. Kiwi jumping back in quickly is gonna get another stagger kill onto the machine on the side of Nawal. Sungura pressured by the Trizuka, but it's still these frontline weapons on the side of Shadowbolt are keeping Nawal from getting any value and moving back into mid. With less than 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining, Nawal are really struggling to get out of their own half of the map.
Yeah, Nawal is not doing too hard, but now I don't know what happened to Nawal after that after the third game, but they just haven't been up to the task of winning against Shadowbolt. They're doing everything they have at the problem of, hey, we were not winning all the maps, let's go win all the maps. It's a bit of a problem in tournaments, you know, but they are doing it now, and they won against Senate as well. Don't forget that they beat the #1 seed of this tournament. The team will be predicted to win a tournament here, but it's not looking like this push is all too hot. They have a power clam activated, they have a tactical, but the power clam has been splattered, and the player did not have tactical, as 2 players having very, very long respawns on the side of Shadowbolt, and it looks like Nawal is preparing for their own push. Ink Zuka comes out, trying to get a cheeky little splat onto the Sniper Rider. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen, but they're still not done yet. They're still waiting. Unfortunately, 2 players from Nawal are now down, meaning this push is not going to go all too far. Nick is fighting, and ends up for dear life, ends up gets splattered, and that's the power clam onto the ground for Nawal. That's not what they want, as they have not enough clams to make another one, and a lot of players from Shadowbolt who are guarding that. Remember, Shadowbolt have a very decent lead here, pretty respectable, and they can just pause it for a bit. They only have a minute left in the game, so there's no real reason to push. The only thing they have to do for 1 more minute is defend that basket and win the set to move on to the finals.
This is just a situation we're all too familiar with. Nawal really only getting away with trades, which in the metagame is only going to benefit Shadowbolt, since they are content with stalling out time thanks to these scrappy fights, and especially with their Tri-Slosher getting 2 picks once again, fishing for a third, not quite gonna get it, but forces back a lot of the members of Nawal and gives Shadowbolt a lot of space to work with. 20 seconds left on the clock, a little bit more. Nawal don't even have a power clam online at the moment, and that's not what you want to see. Shadowbolt finally have their sniper go down, though. This could be bad if they don't recover fast. fast enough. 5 seconds remaining, but the ball goes down. 3 down on the side of Nawal. It's only the Splash Shot left alive. Nick with that Trizuka trying to stay alive. That's going to be a delayed wipeout onto Nawal. Shadowbolt just happy painting the map, painting over the last remaining Power Clam. And Nawal not quite able to clutch it up there at the end. Shadowbolt securing their one-way ticket to Grand Finals and sending Nawal out of the tournament, beating their higher seed, and now we have our Grand Finals duo. Shadowbolt versus Nightmare. This is now really, really high.
That is absolutely going to be crazy. We'll be going on a tiny break to get that set prepared, so make sure you get yourself a snack and some drink to prepare for the team which will probably have the highest seed in FLUTI. Don't go anywhere.